No help wanted. I want to write a confession along the coastlines of your lips, tapping my fingers against the wind. Every morning, Jesse James becomes a dove inside my skin. No help wanted. I hold in a tired breath. You write a sonnet, become a love poem every day. You tell me just breathe. Signs are everywhere, smiling wide. War can turn grown men into beauty queens. There are flowers here only death can smell. We plant seeds of love in red earth, the poet's blood, painted on rocks. Printer's ink is a pleasant memory. I wear Jack Gilbert's tired gloves. My heart covers the sun. It is a puzzle I can feel you gently warming up to. A bit softer poem. When I was in Sacramento last night reading with D.R. Wagner, I got really, really loud.
We don't mind.
Let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna read this long poem. This is called "The Year Joe Brainerd Died." The year Joe Brainerd died, I was in high school. The papers didn't mention anything. It was the year of Charles Bukowski, Kurt Cobain, and the Teatro Cafe. All of the kids I knew were busy wearing a heart-shaped box on their sleeve. I carried a Trapper Keeper with kittens on it. My poems tucked inside. Sitting in the local mall, my friend Mike Mason shaking as he read one aloud. Smoking countless Swisher Sweet cigars with conviction. I don't remember the conversation, only that Mike drove a beat-to-shit 73 Nova and that he spent $60 on egg rolls in 2 days. Because he had a crush on the girl that worked in the food court, who would later take out a restraining order. Those were the days pre-trenchcoat mafia. Before Bill Clinton forgot to take that dress to the dry cleaners, I did inhale. Saw Nirvana at Tingles just blocks away in 1991. Kids today don't smoke like they mean it. I remember that Mike had a nervous condition, had been through the 9th grade 3 times and was working on a 4th. I remember that we ran into this kid I knew from elementary school who looked exactly like Lee Majors. I remember that was the year JP and I watched the Stones for the first time. From nosebleed seats at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, trading a poorly rolled joint for a couple of beers. I remember later that night sitting on the curb talking to strippers at the Good and Plenty bar, while we waited for my aunt to pick us up. Hey Joe, I think of you now, and I remember many things. I remember using a rolled up Atlantic City sweatshirt as a pillow on hot summer nights in South Philly. I remember making out with Lawrence Snow in a treehouse in Penn Hills at the age of 9, around the same time my grandmother died. I remember Gregory getting me a prostitute for the first time. I remember Randall Tex Cobb passed out drunk on our Center City sidewalk at noon. I remember running into him weeks later, and then he took everyone to see Spider-Man down by the docks. I still have the popcorn box he signed. But I haven't talked to Tyrone in years. I remember the poncho Brenda brought back from Bolivia. I still have it. She has 2 children now. I remember drinking for the first time. Airline bottles of vodka on a swing set age 11. I didn't stop flying for years. I remember thoughts of suicide at 10. Having to wear a plastic leg brace everywhere I went. And how having cerebral palsy meant I wasn't normal. I remember nights that are still going on somewhere. Drunk with Fred at the Cheap Art Cafe. It's gone now. I remember Christina's smell. How it stayed on my sheets for months after she was gone. I remember my first lie. I wish it had been my last. I remember holding hands with Caroline on a bench by the Jewish cemetery in Rossford, Ohio. I remember that I haven't been in love since Jessica left. I remember that every day, whether I want to or not. Thanks for the memories, Joe. I think of you often lately. Can't say I remember you, But from what I've heard, you were the stuff ghosts write love songs about. So tonight when I go to sleep, I will try to remember the last words you sang in your dreams. We only have about 15 minutes, so I'll read like 3 or 4 short poems, and that'll be, should do it. This is a poem for a friend of mine who was, he was the first person I knew really well that came out to me, and then he was also the first person I knew to die of AIDS. So I wrote this poem for him, and it's the title poem from this chapbook. It's called Street Maps for Lost Souls. Eddie, I can still remember the last time I saw you crossing the corner of Spruce Street. How you looked so brave then. Even more courageous than when you came out to your Irish Catholic parents in the middle of a family dinner in suburban New Jersey. At that moment, I felt guilty that talking to girls made my hands sweat. I feel guilty that it still does. When you were the one who taught me that it takes courage just to be alive, to set your dreams on fire and call it Independence Day. You were the one who let us know that this dance is far from perfect. You wore your heart on your sleeve every step of the way, like a street map for lost souls. You slept on the floors of dorm rooms after dropping out to wait tables in the name of love, until you could scrape up enough cash for a shoebox of your very own, with dreams as big as mouse holes. You made flying monkeys seem beautiful, and proved that there was indeed no place like home. I just wish you were here now, so I could look you in the eyes and tell you that this dance is far from over.